The Prime Minister says 2016 will prove he's not delusional. A 29-year-old jet ski operator charged with raping an American woman. This as the U.S. Embassy warns its citizens not to patronize jet ski rentals. Plus, Bishop Simeon Hall hits out at the former Deputy Commissioner of Police. We've got those stories and a lot more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NB12 starts right now. Topping news tonight, Prime Minister Christie said 2016 will prove he's not delusional. Time is winding down on the Christie administration's term in office, and with many of the country's issues still lacking a resolution, despite being promised by the Progressive Liberal Party, Christie told reporters today his government has a lot of work to do within this year, and they're going to accomplish much. Kyle Joaquin reports.
Ladies and gentlemen, let there be no doubt about our commitment to building a stronger Bahamas where we can live safely and enjoy modern advancements.
The Prime Minister mentioned a stronger Bahamas several times today, and as we get closer and closer to the next general election, Christie said there are several things the government will have to accomplish before the year is out, including getting a handle on crime, dealing with the nation's economy, and of course, there is Bahamar.
May not recognize that. I know, for example, in this coming year, I have to trigger off certain developments in the economy, one of which is Bahamar.
Bahamar was projected to be a major catalyst for job creation in the Bahamas, but after the bankruptcy filing in Delaware, the appointment of provisional liquidators, and eventually the project being placed into receivership, the Prime Minister has been left optimistic for at least the conference center to be complete and open by Easter. If open, the multi-billion-dollar resort would see the employment of thousands, a promise made by the PLP on the campaign trail. And as the Christie administration begins the last year of its 5-year term, the Prime Minister indicated that talks of him being delusional would be proven wrong as his expectations are met, all within 2016.
And so you're going to therefore find that all the talk about delusion and dreaming and so forth and so on will manifest itself where people, young people in particular, where there's an acute need to let them know and let them feel confident that there's a future for them and that they're going to be able to see that around the Bahamas on what is taking place.
During the launch of e-services at the Registrar General's Department today, Christie dubbed the occasion as the latest in the government's fight toward building a stronger Bahamas. That phrase, stronger Bahamas, was used repeatedly during his address. According to Christie, the private and public sector have been working together to the benefit of the country with no politics involved. This year, he said, the government will spend $50 million in airport expansion alone. And a lot of the things being done in the country, he said, those in politics don't recognize.
I know that, and I have a commitment to doing it, that where Bimini has an exceptional future in terms of that. There is nothing that people could ask for in Bimini that they're not getting now. The same is going to happen to Nagua. It's going to, not in Nagua, to Abaco, where it's going to be happening this year with increased development. The same thing happened to Exuma with increased development. The same thing is going to happen in Eleuthera, and it's going to happen this year.
Just last October, the International Monetary Fund cut the Bahamas' 2015 economic growth forecast to 1.2% from 1.7%. That brought about much ridicule from members of the opposition over the state of the country's economy under Christie's watch. The Bahamas ended 2015 with a new murder record, a rise in unemployment, and questions lingering over national health insurance as well as Bahamar. Despite that, Christie said he's lifted himself above the political fray and is focused on bringing much of what the government planned to reality this year. Reporting for NB12. I'm Kyle Joaquin.
A 29-year-old jet ski operator appeared in the magistrate's court today, charged with the rape of a 24-year-old American tourist. Kevin Romer of Melbourne Road, Yellow Elder, appeared before Chief Magistrate Joanne Ferguson Pratt. The incident is alleged to have occurred on Atoll Island off Cabbage Beach on Saturday, January 2nd. The alleged sexual assault of the 24-year-old American woman had prompted Atlanta's Senior Vice President of Public Relations Ed Fields to call for bold, decisive, and immediate action against crime. In a statement, Fields said action must be taken to rid ourselves of those who do not have the interests and safety of law-abiding citizens and our visitors at heart. Romer, who was represented in court by attorney Ian Cargill, was not required to enter a plea to the charge and was remanded. The matter will proceed to the Supreme Court by way of a voluntary bill of indictment to be presented on February 24th. Well, the United States Embassy in Nassau has released yet another crime warning for its citizens in the wake of the recently reported alleged sexual assault of an American woman by a jet ski operator. The embassy is advising U.S. citizens not to patronize jet ski rentals and revealed that U.S. Embassy personnel are prohibited from using jet ski rentals. The embassy claimed in a statement, since July 2014, there have been 5 sexual assaults of U.S. citizens by jet ski operators in Nassau, the most recent on January 2nd. As a result, the U.S. Embassy has prohibited personnel under U.S. Embassy Chief of Mission Authority from using the services of jet ski rental operators in Nassau. This includes jet ski operators on Cabbage Beach and Cable Beach. We strongly advise that U.S. citizens do the same and not patronize these services. Jet ski rentals in the Bahamas are only minimally regulated. The embassy said it advises U.S. citizens residing in and traveling to the Bahamas to be aware of their surroundings and remain on heightened alert to avoid being victims of crime. Citizens should also review their personal security plans, the embassy said. It added, at all times, maintain a high level of vigilance and take appropriate steps to enhance your personal security. If you encounter a violent or threatening situation, try to remain calm and immediately get yourself out of harm's way. If confronted by armed criminals, remember your vehicle or valuables are not worth your life or anyone else's. Well, National Security Ministers Dr. Bernard Nottage and Keith Bell have failed to act when it comes to the fight against crime, according to F&M Chairman Michael Pintard. Pointing to the country's continued crime rate, Pintard today called on Prime Minister Perry Christie to reveal government's new crime-fighting strategy and said perhaps it's time Bell and Nottage transitioned out of national security.
Notwithstanding Dr. Nottage's past performance in a number of areas in this country, at this juncture, he simply does not have the energy. Mr. Bell does not have the temperament, the skill set, or the relationship with stakeholders to make him a credible speaker or leader in the area of solving crime.
Pintard said lives are at stake, and Prime Minister Perry Christie must now lead the charge and rally stakeholders to win back the streets. Pintard said crime has only gotten worse under Nottage and Bell, and the issue is not just affecting Bahamians. Pintard said it's having an impact on the nation's #1 industry.
There's a tremendous amount of anxiety in the country as it relates to crime. In addition, the economy is being adversely impacted. The countries that provide tourists to this country, whether it's United States, Great Britain, or Canada, have all issued multiple advisories.
Pintard called on Prime Minister Perry Christie to outline his new crime-fighting plan and strategies that he spoke of just before the new year. He said government must act with a sense of urgency and without fear and favoritism. He said Christie is duty-bound to address the wave of violent crimes occurring in the country.
What we expect from the Prime Minister, and Dr. Nottage has challenged him, lay out what are your plans that would have an immediate impact and what are your plans that would have a medium to long-term impact. The Prime Minister continues to preach optimism in the absence of any concrete facts or indications that something useful is about to happen.